Hey y'all, massive beer reviews. Here, I'm Matt. We're going to do a beer review of this brewery. Oh, Buried Acorn. There it is. Buried Acorn time. They're Porter Hill. It's a porter on a hill from a barn. Syracuse, New York. That's all we get. 7.8% base porter. This was canned in October, if you can see that. And I'm excited to drink this because it is a porter. It's not a chocolate porter. It's not a bourbon barrel aged porter. It's not a cherry vanilla porter. It's a porter. What a novel concept. A 7% porter. They are in the Finger Lakes, Buried Acorn. I think they have a couple different locations, at least taproom wise. Label wise, it is just white graphic lettering on a black can. I dig. That is what a porter is supposed to look like. Nice. Over an index finger of a rich malted malt ball colored head. And that rich brown, not black, but brown. You can tell it's that just that notch below that darkness you typically get from a bigger stout. I mean, it kind of looks like, an export stout, something along those lines. But knowing porter, looking at it, just kind of makes sense. So we're off to a very apt start. The nose. Oh, yeah. It's roasted malt. There's a tiny bit of that little metallic astringency in there that I typically get from darker beers. Lower ABV more often than not, but it's not that big. It could be just this roasted malt, little bittering astringency kind of thing, kind of tricking me into that kind of metallic thing. Big roasted malt, a bit of soft sweetness, almost like there's a soft oat addition to it. Not oatmeal stout level stuff, oatmeal porter, but enough of that, like that lactose you get from like an oat addition. Chocolate, like soft baker's chocolate, nothing all that sweet. Done. It smells like it's going to be, it's 7, so there's going to be a sweetness to it. It's not going to be just a bone dry beer. I don't believe the roasted malts and hops and all that could help bring it towards a not as sweet side, but I didn't think it was going to get there to begin with. Really curious how it's going to be because it smells really nice, even with that little tiny metallic thing. So let's dive in. Cheers, all. That's a porter. It's a porter. It's a really good porter. Metallic thing doesn't even exist. It's more me just making up my brain. Man, that's good. It's got a really nice mouthfeel to it. Like, it stops short of being that oatmeal stout, oatmeal porter kind of creaminess, but it's eating towards there. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was something in this more than just a roasted malt component, because that how lush that mouthfeel is. The bittering here is really fun. It's not aggressive. I definitely wouldn't classify it as an aggressive bittering, but it's not afraid to show itself. I think you're getting equal bittering. Some on that kind of on the hop side, a little bit kind of Ghosts of Hops pasty. So it's not bringing much. And when I say that, just the hops don't have a big kind of punch at it from a fruited side of things. It's more of just it's not aged hops, but older hops, or even the can being a little bit older. That hop has lost its little bit of fruitiness that it had, if it ever had any. It's more just a bittering component. When you take that and it melts with the way the roasted malts kind of come off, it all kind of converges into one kind of cool, kind of really wide berthy kind of bittering that has something a bit more to it than just hops or just kind of a big astringent kind of roasted malt. I really like that mouthfeel. That chocolate is there. Again, it's a baker's chocolate through and through, but I think that what I'm going to sit here and say has to be an own addition that adds a touch of a pseudo kind of lactose, pseudo vanilla kind of addition that adds a little soft kind of oaty sweetness to it. Makes you think there's a little, little milk chocolatey component, not fully on, like full on milk chocolate, but a little soft dollop of cream inside that baker's chocolate. I think this is fantastic. Very much super old school. Like, super old school. This is the kind of beer where, like, I would, like, you would get these at like old school brew pubs, or even for example, we have a brewery by us that it's like, home brewer basically opened a brewery. He never worked professionally. And those brewers tend to make a lot more classic styles, and these kind of facilitated, created an Excel sheet. Let's make all the hazies in the world kind of brewery. Not that they don't make those here, but this has that old school kind of vibe. You walk in there and you see, okay, they got a gold, they got a porter, those kind of things. And this is the kind of beer I love. This is the kind of beer I usually dive into. Now the ABV is a little bit high for me when it comes to porter. I usually like them a little bit lower ABV, but with how lush the mouthfeel is here and how rich and aggressive the beer is, it's definitely drinking up to its ABV level. And this just comes off as a super well made, super duper well made. Imperial porter? I mean, you're talking it's 8%. That's kind of, like I said, a little bit high. So it's almost like, an Americanized Baltic porter, kind of Imperial porter level stuff. And that mindset, thinking about the beer in that way, it's really, really tasty. I think I said this the last time I did the Berry Acorn stuff. Gotta make a road trip. Yeah, I got a bunch of peeps up in the Finger Lakes. COVID seems like it's going in a decent thing. I've had it twice. I'm vaccinated twice, boosted once. I gotta go on a trip. We're coming to Buried Acorn. I'm supposed to play records up there. There's Sean who sent this to me. Thank you very much, Sean. He was a DJ back in the day, and we're kind of wax poetic or reminisced on that for a bit. So that's my turntables in the background. For those who don't see them, it's a mess back there. But when I build my she shed and I can start being loud again, I'll start practicing, put together a set. Maybe that'll be the impetus for me going up there, play some records, actual records. Not Serato, not Tractor, none of that stuff. I will be beat matching by hand, like insert deity of choice here intended. I'm not going to get on that rant again. Anyway, yeah, this is delicious. If your life exists solely in the all I drink is pastry stout and hazies, not sure this beer works for you. It could. You should try it. You should try any beer. That's how it works. But it might not work for you, or if you're just like a lager junkie or something like that. But if you're in the classic beer, if you're in the beer flavored beer, and like just beer for what it was and what it also still is and what it can be, man, that sounds like a line from a movie. What was that? Is it Jerry Maguire? Did I just Jerry Maguire a beer review? Anyway, yeah. It's delicious. Let's put it that way. I'm excited. I'm back. So there you go. One of the better porters I've had as of late. Yes, Mount Rushmore status. Probably. Yeah, especially with a base porter. I mean, they're few and far between, but yeah, it's up there. Worthy. And just get to the point where talk to me about Buried Acorn. Have you had this beer? What are your thoughts on the brewery in general? So my upstate, my ROC, Finger Lakey, Seneca Falls, blah, 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 that whole area. Upstate New York, basically. Let me know your thoughts on Buried Acorn. What do you dig? What you don't dig? Do you have this beer? You feel the same way? All that fun stuff. There you go. You can do it all down there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.